Have you ever felt stuck, staring at a blank page, after receiving the well-meaning advice to just write when you sought help with regards to motivation? I've seen questions on how to get motivated to write so many times over, and I don't like how most people try to answer these questions, especially those who tell people to just write. I think this type of advice ranges somewhere from unhelpful to actively harmful. Why? First, there's the whole matter of oversimplification. Writing is a multifaceted activity that involves creativity, technical skills, emotional investment, and often a significant amount of self-doubt. Telling someone to just write dismisses these layers and oversimplifies the struggle many writers face. Second, it doesn't provide practical steps or strategies for overcoming obstacles. Writers need actionable advice on how to develop ideas, organize their thoughts, manage time, or combat writer's block. For instance, setting small achievable goals or breaking tasks into manageable chunks can make a big difference. And this is where things really start to grind my gears. This type of advice can invalidate the real and legitimate struggles writers face. It can make them feel misunderstood or belittled, which can be discouraging and demotivating. I've been there, feeling like my struggles were brushed off, and it's incredibly frustrating. That's actually one reason I've designed this channel as I have, to avoid discouraging writers. While I do feel pressure as a valuable teaching tool, I dislike pressure by itself. Advice like this can lead to people feeling inadequate or blaming themselves for not being able to just do it. And that just increases their issues and cements the block further. Finally, it ignores context. Generic advice fails to consider factors like people's personal life, mental health, work environments, and so on. It just eats at me because I believe that effective motivational advice should be empathetic, practical, and personalized. I don't think those who give such advice are bad people or anything, just unaware of how unhelpful it can be. Writers benefit more from specific guidance tailored to their needs and circumstances instead of generic platitudes. Having said all that, I'm going to try to contribute a bit more to this conversation than criticism. Anybody can be a critic. Anybody can deconstruct the work of others. My main interest in criticism is in relation to building something better. So I'm going to start here, with the root understanding of what motivation is. Motivation is your brain's way of saying, hey, cool stuff ahead. It's all about that sweet release of dopamine, the feel-good chemical, when you're psyched about getting into something awesome. Basically, your brain's preparing you to go get it. Also, there's three components that make it up: activation, persistence, and intensity. Activation gets the ball rolling, persistence keeps you going when you run into obstacles, and intensity reflects how much effort someone is willing to devote to reaching a goal. The issue with all of this lies in making stuff actionable. Motivation isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. Your brain chemistry and life experiences can impact it a great deal. So, what lights your fire might be totally different from what gets someone else going. With that in mind, I like turning to things like the Enneagram of Personality. It's pseudoscience, so if you wish to disregard it, you can. But I still think it can be a useful tool for self-reflection. It's done far better for me as a creative than Just Do It ever has, so maybe it can help you too. Here's what I recommend. First, figure out your Enneagram type, both your core and your wing. See if it correlates well with this information on what motivates one to write. Type 1, the reformer. Motivations: to change hearts and minds, show people the right way to live, to create a better world. Type 2, the helper. Motivations: to help people who are struggling, to build a loving community, to inspire and uplift. Type 3, the achiever. Motivations: to be recognized for your skills, to add value to the world, to be an inspiration to others. Speaking from personal experience, adding value to the world is one of the things that brought me back to video creation. It's also why I keep making content like this despite there being far easier, more immediately fruitful paths for me. So, if I am adding value to your world, I'd appreciate if you could do things like help this channel grow in significance, such as by liking the video and commenting. And if you can afford to go the extra mile, you can tip via super chat or become a channel member. Type 4, the individualist. Motivations: to create true beauty, to express your individuality, to better understand yourself. Type 5, the investigator. Motivations: to explore life's mysteries, to build your own world, to create puzzles and solve them. Type 6, the loyalist. Motivations: to play in a safe world, to confront scary things, to inspire bravery and courage. Type 7, enthusiast, motivations, to have adventures and explore, to keep yourself entertained, to spread joy to the world. Type 8, the challenger, motivations, to make your own rules, to challenge existing norms, to empower others. Type 9, the peacemaker, motivations, to find inner peace, to share your hopeful vision, to create harmony from conflict. To note, there are other motivations that can be extrapolated, so feel free to, or ask me in the comments and we'll work through what we can. Either way, after identifying your type and core motivation, align your project with your motivations. Consider what kind of projects satisfy your desires and why. Then, once you have that, set clear goals that align with how you operate. Goal setting matters because it helps provide a sense of purpose, direction, and a sense of progress. Short-term goals provide incremental achievements that sustain motivation, while long-term ones provide a significant sense of accomplishment when reached. When working, try to incorporate your strengths into your work and figure out ways to overcome your personal challenges. Like, a personal one for me, I have a tendency to overwork myself, which is why I allow for flexibility in my scheduling. If you'd like to see me make a video on the different challenges each Enneagram type is likely to face and how to deal with them, tell me. Anyway, beyond that, do your best to create a supportive environment for your goals. This can include both the right support system and work environment. Be willing to reflect and adjust at least once a month to review everything and come up with ways to take care of yourself along the way. This is more stuff I can make content on if the interest exists. But before asking, I recommend checking to see if it overlaps with the advice I've already given on how to overcome writer's block. It's another one of my attempts to use psychology to help people tackle their personal problems and get to creating the works of their dreams.